Well, we were really going into that thinking we need to get some key reserves some time because as we hit that hard conference schedule, players like Haley David, Molly Randall, Holly Reinke, Jalen Manzanares, they become, key players in the conference season. So they did really well. We got the innings that we wanted for Kaylee Snyder got some innings, Holly and Molly. So that was really important. And we felt, of course, Casey matched up really well and took them 1-1 into the 7th. So that was a great feeling to do that. We played solid defense. Our defense was really challenged. Our outfield got challenged more than they have in the past, and I felt like we were hitting our cuts and we were executing on defense. So it was a good weekend overall. Oh yeah, for sure. And I think when you're facing their pitcher was actually drafted. There's a small professional fast pitch league that most people probably don't know, but their pitcher was actually drafted, I think, like 5th. And so, going up against her, you're facing what you're going to see. And so hopefully in like a College World Series environment. So hopefully our players go into that and come away with some experience, and the younger players definitely coming back. But knowing that Casey can keep us in a game like that, she's done that. She's gone toe-to-toe with several teams, this whole year. And so it's a great feeling. And at the same time, as a coach, it's a worrisome feeling because she's a senior, so we got to replace that. And those are going to be big shoes to fill. Well, I kind of liken it to Coach Eustace taking the guys out to play Duke. I mean, you're playing a storied program that's been to several College World Series. That they're in the SEC now, but they've been, in the Big Ten, in the Big 12, and they've been just a top-level program. Their coach has been there 17 years. I mean, you're going down there as coaches, you're going down there as players, and to win, but you're also going down there to say what would it take for us to get to this level. And so hopefully that's something for our program to build on and move forward with. Yeah, I think it's better than sitting on your bye week. So we have 9 schools, so there's a bye week for all 9 schools. So I think it's better than sitting and not doing anything, although as a coach, you're always trying to balance that rest in there, and when do we need the rest, when's the best time to put it in there. I feel like because it wasn't like a midweek series, I feel like it's good. We stay in the rhythm of playing on the weekends, playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-game series, that type of thing. So the rhythm, I think, will be good for us. I think we're fine with that. And we're trying not to watch too much, but keeping our eye on what's happening with the other teams in the conference, and then just refocusing on what we need to do. Well, they're leading in pretty much every offensive category that there is. So we've really got to, buckle down, hit our spots, not let their, look at a couple of kids that we decide, hey, we're not going to let her beat us. We're not going to let her beat us. We're going to pitch around her, and we're going to hammer, this one, and this one. We're looking at just trying to figure out what we need to do offensively because, so far this year we just really haven't. In our first conference series against UNLV, we put up some runs, so that was great. We've got to put up some runs against their pitching. Their pitching has not been in the top categories in the conference, but I think it's a little bit deceptive. I really think they have a kind of like a Casey. She's right there with her, low number of walks, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of backwards Ks. So we've really got to not take their pitching for granted just because their hitting is so good. We can't take their pitching for granted either. But they've got some good power numbers, and, to me, they're really doing what I am trying to get our team as a whole to do. Lead the conference in slugging, lead the conference in home runs, lead the conference in walks, lead the conference in hit by pitch. Those are some on-base percentage. Those are all the categories that we're trying to focus on and get our kids to lower your strikeouts, up your walks, up your power numbers. They've got 80 doubles so far this year. We have 40. So doubles make good coaches. So that's what worries me about them. But I think we can match up. Yeah, it definitely does. But I think for us, we just try to turn something negative into a positive and make it adversity. It's just another thing that our players have to get over and have to have to be really good at. And they're working on that mental game. They're constantly working on that. We were just talking about Coach Eustace doing a lot of work in this gym right here, for the dreariness of it, or, it's a little bit dark, it's a little bit dingy, it's a little bit like we got to get the work done. Of course, we have a beautiful indoor practice facility, which helps a ton. But, they'd much rather be outside right now. We get a lot of good work in when you're hitting, when you're doing your offense and you're on the field and you can see where the ball goes versus being in a cage constantly. It does definitely help. So the weather's been a little bit of a challenge for us, but I'm proud of the way the team's reacted defensively. Like last week, we got out on Thursday before we left, had a great round. They were extremely efficient. They were on point. Our outfielders were hitting their cuts, and we were throwing people out at the plate. So I think they get into that efficiency mode, and they know this is it. This is all I've got, so I better make the most of it. So they turn something that could be a negative into a positive.
Well, we definitely went in with a game plan, and I know we were really focusing on making sure that we were executing what we needed to do offensively and defensively, and with pitching, with hitting lanes and making sure that our pitches counted. And we definitely did that this weekend, and especially that second game. I mean, we were staying in the game, and all the innings for the weekend also is making sure that we're executing our plan every day with every game and every inning. So that can be taken away and taken into the next weekends with conferences, making sure that we're finishing through with everything, and we'll get outcomes with wins when everything kind of clicks together. It was a great opportunity. I was ecstatic and happy that I had won the opportunity to play there and play such a great team and play against players and coaches that are really well known within softball. And I think that's going to be a memorable experience, especially senior year, and kind of experiencing that and being down there and playing in that stadium and getting the whole atmosphere with the fans and the players. It was a really cool experience. Definitely, I kind of went in with that attitude. It was, even though you're ranked, it doesn't mean that a little team can upset you. And that's kind of, I was just going at them every inning and really just focusing on that and kind of getting that fire of, you're not as good as what your number says. Like, you can always get upset. Teams can beat you if they're executing what needs to be executed. And so I know that we really scared on that second game with just how much we battled. And we never gave up in those other games as well. We were always fighting till the last pitch, the last out. So I know that was really big to take away from that weekend, was going in there and playing a team like that and proving to ourselves that we can compete with the top teams. Taking away from the game, it was battling every pitch, every batter, and that's kind of more the takeaway that I got was I was making them look foolish with certain pitches. And that's kind of what I was going off of, was making sure that I was executing the pitches and having conviction with those pitches. And that's what I'm taking away from that. Yes, it's a bummer that that's what happened in the game. And I mean, you'll always kind of remember that. But knowing that you were this, close to actually getting over that hump and beating them, I mean, that's kind of like that fire that, we can play that good every game, then we can do that through conference all the way till the end. And definitely going in there and really wanting to get that first game and get the momentum on our side is going to be a big factor for, especially through conference with these teams, because everybody is so good and going to be a challenge all through season. So I know that we really just got to attack them that first game coming out and can't expect anything and really just attack them and utilize, the pitching and hitting lanes and making sure that we're executing on offense and defense, and we're going to be able to stay in those games and really compete through conference. So I'm really excited to kind of see how the rest of conference goes, especially with how well, V went a couple weeks ago. Definitely seeing the upsets the past weekend with some of those teams in conference, the unexpected, and V really coming out strong this last weekend. So I'm really excited to see kind of how everything plays out for the rest of conference.